What's going on, everybody, and welcome back. So today we're going to look at the while statement. So let's go on through with it. So we're going to say int I equals 0. We're going to say while I is less than 5. Okay. Then we're going to go cout I and then a /n for new line, and then underneath it we're going to increment 1 to the value of I. So we're going to go I plus plus, and that's going to increment the value of I, and then that's our little code here. So if we go ahead and now remember, I is less than 5, so if we increment, what are we going to get? So if we go ahead and compile this, we're going to get 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and which is really strange. Why are we getting 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4? Strange, ain't it? So when we said I is equal to 0, and if we say while I is less than 5, okay, that's less than 5. So it's going to say 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, but it's not. It's less than 5, so it's never going to print 5 because it's less than. If it was greater than 5, then what would it do if we changed the direction of that? Well, let's find out. We print nothing. And you're probably wondering, what? Well, I is greater than 5. If we're printing the value of I and we're incrementing, then it's not going to print anything because the local variable I is equal to 0. So if it's equal to 0, it don't, even if it's greater than 5, you would think, well, wouldn't it be 6? Well, no, because our variable I is only equal to 0. If we was to maybe say 6, for an example, it's just going to start incrementing all of these crazy numbers consistently. Look at this. It's ridiculous. It's greater than, so I equals to 6 while I is greater than 5. So here's a kicker. 5 is not greater than I. I is greater than 5. So I is equal to 6. So if we print the value I in new line, it's going to continue to increment. The value or variable of I is equal to 6. We're going to increment plus plus, so 6 plus 1. We're going to have a consistency of constant numbers. Now, if we done it less than 5, so let's say we reverse it, or well, I is less than 5. So if we actually do that and we compile it, what's it going to give us? Nothing. Okay, because I is less than 5. Now let's say if we say it's I is less than 7. Okay, and we know I is 6. Well, if I is equal to 6, while we say I is less than 7, then what's it going to do? It's just going to give us 6 because that's what it's equal to, which is 6. So while statements are like, think of it this. Well, I is equal to 6. Well, while I may be less than 7, then we can print out the less than value of I but increment that plus plus, right? So remember how we talked about increment and decrement? Well, let's say for example that we make this 0, okay? And let's change the plus plus. This is where I was talking about we're going to get into decrement and increment. This is decrementing. In other words, the value of I is less than, so it's negative. It's negative 1. So if I is less than 0 and it's negative, so I is less than 7, it's not going to print, or is it? We got negative values now. So all of these negative values that now we're calling on. So the while loop can either decrement or increment a value, and a while loop is extremely great Well, I just said the while loop can either increment, decrement. What I meant is if we include a increment or decrement operator, we are capable of changing the way something is less than or greater to based off the value that we gave a variable of I. And that's while loops. I hope I didn't confuse you. Like I said on the last video, we're getting in depth into some crazy shit. So I just wanted to kind of leave you all on one more episode after this, and that's going to be the intermediate. I don't want to confuse you all anymore because we're about to get into some other stuff. So thank you all for watching, and don't forget, one more episode after this. And also, I wanted to discuss a little bit. You're probably curious, whoa, what did you do to your Visual Studio background? I downloaded a Pacific theme off of the extension, which is, where are you? Manage extensions, and we can sort. And let's say, for example, we want to go to the marketplace, which, well, we're already here, sorry. You want to say themes. We have all of these themes that we can start choosing from. All of these Goodnight themes, OneDart Pro themes, and all these things. But when you go through your installer, you got to have Visual Studio extension development in the workloads. Or no, is it workloads or is it the pre-packages? Whichever one it is, you got to have that installed. And every time you download one of these from here, you'll exit Visual Studio, and once you relaunch it, it'll want to do the VSIX installer or something like that. It's a Visual Studio extension installer, and what it'll do, it'll install those ones you downloaded. So the next time, once you get them done, hit OK and then relaunch it. What's going to happen is you're going to be able to go to your tools, and you're going to be able to go to themes, and you're going to see your new themes. So I even got a matrix theme in here. So it's pretty neat. You can do some really cool stuff with this. So anyway, I'm going to leave y'all at that. One more episode for the intermediate, and we are done. And I'm going to take a month break from the intermediate because I need to get some decomp code done in NG2 and NGB. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the last episode.